Okay, hello and welcome to the Task 2 writing course. In this video we're going to look at the overall structure of the essay quite quickly, and then we're going to write an essay together just to show you exactly what you need to do to get minimum band 6. If you want to get band 7, 8 or higher, I strongly recommend that you watch this series first, and then we will take that knowledge and move on to getting higher band scores. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so the first document I want you to look at is this. I've just called it sentence names. I've given them every sentence that you're going to write a specific name. In the introduction there are 3 sentences. General, it can be specific or it can be contrast. I'll explain later. Then a thesis statement. In your body paragraphs there will be a topic sentence, a supporting sentence, a detailed sentence, a supporting sentence, a detailed sentence. So 5 sentences. The detailed sentences will be one of these. I'll explain those later. In your conclusion, you will have 3 sentences. Conclusion, one of these 2, and a final. Alright, we're going to do it exactly like this. Then, for each one of those, you are going to create your own document. You can start with this one and copy this one, but then you can add some of your own sentences. You're going to have what we call stock phrases. It's like, the stock is like what you keep in a shop. So it's all of your stock sentences that you will memorize perfectly. So then in the test you will just be able to choose one of these from your head and write it perfectly. I don't want to go through all of them just yet, but you will see that for each type of sentence there are various options. The details can be an example, a cause, you'll start that with this because, and so on and so on. A conditional, body paragraph 2, and a conclusion of each of those types of sentence. There are some nice general examples that you can almost always use. So to explain this better, this whole method, we are going to write an essay together. Okay, so this is the essay we're going to write today. Smoking not only harms the smoker but also those who are nearby. Therefore, smoking should be banned in public places. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So you should immediately just go to your plan. What I like to do is just write a couple of sentences here just to make it clear what you are going to argue. Something like that. In this example it's quite simple, but sometimes you just really need to think and be clear about what you are arguing. So these sentences are a good idea. Then I'm just going to put 2 examples for each one. Smoking, obviously the one that everyone will think of is smoking is unhealthy, and also smoking smells bad, then should not be banned because maybe it can negatively affect some businesses. Maybe you can write negatively there, or it could negatively affect the economy. Okay, so let's start the essay. To start, I'm going to go to one of my stock sentences. So we'll start with one of the general sentences. In modern times, the issue of, and what is our topic? The topic is what you're going to put in over here. Let me just make this a bit bigger. So, the issue of smoking, of banning smoking in public places. And that's what you'll put in over there. In the modern era, smoking an essential part of everyday life? No, that doesn't really work. These days, more and more, maybe you can say governments are banning smoking in public places. That would work. An increasing concern for many people around the world is smoking in public places. That's fine. One of the most topical issues in modern society is smoking in public places. So all of these are fine except maybe this one. These are really nice introduction sentences. Of course, develop a few of your own, add a few of your own, but if you want, use these. They have some nice vocabulary in them already. Controversial, essential, topical, the modern era. So the idea is that you learn the grammar of these perfectly. Just put a noun phrase in here, which is the topic of your essay, and then you have a perfect general sentence. I think I'm just going to choose this one. Right, so there I will just put great. What is our next sentence? Our next sentence is one of these kind of contrast sentences that you will use for argumentative essays, the agree, disagree, and the discuss both views and give your opinion essays. They're all the same structure, it's just that words are slightly different, so you can choose any one. The main thing I want you to notice here is these. Please remember those. those are very important parts of the structure of these sentences, and I will come back to them later when we do sentence structure. So just after that, you just need to have a whole sentence, a subject and a verb and the rest of the sentence. So I put SVX to mean subject, verb and the rest of the sentence. You will have that after that twice in each one of these, which gives you a really nice big complex sentence with perfect grammar. So I will just choose the first one, doesn't really matter. They're all the same. Okay, so in here we're going to say smoking should be banned, and here we're going to say shouldn't be banned. Try and paraphrase a little bit. Areas instead of places. And you don't need to go too crazy with this. This is just your introduction. You just want to write a good introduction quickly with no mistakes. And that's fine. It should not. It is actually quite nice because, as I will discuss later, it, this, these, those are called reference pronouns, and the people who mark your test, the examiners, they are looking for reference pronouns. Good. What's next? Any one of these, just memorize your own. No problem there. Alright, so then that is your introduction. 0 grammar mistakes. Very quickly. That's the important part, is that you've made no mistakes, but you've done it quickly. You can do this, if you have those sentences in your head, you can do this in 2 minutes. Let's move on to the important part of the essay, which is the body paragraphs. Now in this sentence over here, there are various options. I think I'm going to choose that one. There are 2 main reasons why. And please notice that is there again, so we need SVX after that. So I'll take that out. There are 2 main reasons why, and then you must paraphrase again. So throw in something extra. Governments and municipalities should forbid, is another word for ban, forbid smoking in public places. You can just have we should or smoking should be forbidden, but try and throw a few extra words in if possible. You can even throw a little bit more in here if you want. It's nice to say such as what? Such as hospitals, restaurants, and what? Train stations. Just gives you a little bit extra. Great. So that is called our topic sentence. It's just giving the reader, you're telling him you're going to say in this paragraph why they should ban. We want a supporting sentence. I like this, perhaps the main reason many writers, native speaker writers, use it. Perhaps the main reason why people are in favor of. Now this, you can say banning smoking in public places, but a nice thing to do is just say this idea, or whatever you're talking about. This concept or this phenomenon or this whatever, because it gives you a nice reference pronoun. Examiners like that. And then after because you need a SVX. So let's say cigarette smoke is unhealthy. But this part over here, after the because, this is actually the most important part of the essay, so you want to really try and make it great. So it's a good part to try and think of some amazing vocabulary to put in. So for example, I know this word carcinogenic, which means causes cancer. So instead of saying is unhealthy, which is easy vocabulary, I will say is carcinogenic. So you will have a lot of these advanced band 7, 8 words for each kind of topic, and you must just learn lots of them. Cigarette smoke is carcinogenic, which means it causes cancer, and let's add a little bit more for the people who breathe it. Great. And then we want a detail sentence which kind of explains the support sentence. Remember, this is our support sentence. Now we want a detail sentence. The detail sentence can be one of these. You can give an example, you can a cause, a result, you can compare the past and the present. This is a very difficult one. Let's leave that one for now. Or a conditional. Conditionals are very good. I'll explain why later. I think for this one, you're just going to do an example. Don't do an example for every detail sentence. Just use example once. So let me use that one. A good illustration of this is that people who smoke a lot often develop lung cancer. Great, and that's fine. That's all you need. It would be nicer, maybe we could do a bit more here. So let's try and add a bit. People who smoke a lot, but there's this more great vocabulary. A person who breathes another person's cigarette smoke is called a secondary smoker. So I'd like to add that. And secondary smokers. Often, I wouldn't say often, maybe take out that, let's say can develop lung cancer, yeah, but let's say serious illnesses such as lung cancer. Great, so then we've taken a simple sentence and just made it a bit bigger and stronger. Good, another supporting sentence now. Right, another supporting sentence. We go to our supporting sentences. This one is for the second one. A further point we're doing in favor of banning smoking in public places is that, and this is your second idea. So what did we say? Unhealthy and smells bad. So we said cigarette smoke, let's say the smoke from cigarettes smells bad, or let's make it stronger, smells terrible. What's next? Another detail sentence. At this point, I often tell students try and use a conditional. End of the first body paragraph, try and put a conditional in. Examiners love conditionals because they are complex sentences, and examiners love complex sentences. So a conditional is something that starts with if. If you stand next to someone who is smoking, second part of the conditional, your clothes and hair, and here is our modal verb for the conditional, will smell like or let's try tobacco smoke for the rest of the day. Great. And that is our first sentence. Now next paragraph, do the exact same thing. Back to the topic sentences. Topic sentence for body paragraph 2 will be slightly different. Despite these arguments, there is also a case for the idea that governments, or we, let's say we should, or let's say smoking in public places should be allowed. Supporting sentence. This is where your idea comes in. We can take that, maybe we should add another one, maybe we shouldn't use perhaps twice, so I'll just take it out. Just take it out because we don't want to repeat that exact structure. So the main reason why people think that this is a good idea this is a good idea. Please notice that over there, so we've got subject, verb, X. I'll talk a lot about that when we do sentence structure. This is a good idea is because why? Something about affect some business. Because it could negatively affect some businesses. Such as bars, restaurants, and nightclubs. Now you need to kind of explain with a detailed sentence how it negatively affects them. Let's do a result. So what would the result be of the negative effect? As a result, many people could lose their jobs. That's fine, that's enough. Alright, another supporting sentence. Let's just use secondly. Secondly, and we said secondly what? Affect the economy. Yes. I was thinking about tax here because they put tax on cigarettes. So, secondly, the government could lose a lot of tax money from cigarettes. And so let's do another detailed sentence. Maybe a cause. This is because government could lose a lot of tax money from cigarettes. This is because less people would buy cigarettes and so pay less tax on them. That's fine. Alright, and that's great. We're almost there. Then a quick conclusion. Got some nice sentences. It must be said it's a complex issue with no easy solutions. It's fine. A topic very relevant to modern society. That's fine. Smoking, strong passions, both sides of the argument. It's fine. Let's just do this one. I think we can just stick with this because the reader will know what this is, so that's fine. Choose one of these. This is where you give your opinion. Any one of them is fine. Let's choose that one. We should ban smoking in all public places. You can even say, if you want, very strongly that. And the last sentence, I usually end with a conditional. Maybe we can do some others later, but a conditional now is fine. It gives you a second conditional, or conditional number 2 that we've used in this essay. If the government, I'm going to use some nice vocabulary here. Implement a policy. Good vocabulary to remember. You can use it whenever you talk about governments. We will have a healthier and cleaner society. End with a nice conditional. And there you go. That is a band 7 essay. If you can write it like that with no grammar mistakes, minimum band 7, we've got everything we need. We've got complex sentences, we've got strong vocabulary, we've got no grammar mistakes, we've got perfect structure, we've got reference pronouns like that. We've got everything you need. Band 7 for that. The key is don't make any grammar mistakes. How do you do that? You memorize these sentences perfectly and how to use them. But we will look in detail at these in future videos. Great. There you go. Well done. You wrote a band 7 essay. Maybe even higher.